Good morning, Quadcopter 101 here, and what I got for you today is a review of the JJRC H11C model, the camera model. Now there's several versions of this. I believe one without a camera, one with this 2 megapixel 720p camera, and there's even I believe there's a Wi-Fi and a 5.8 gigahertz FPV versions. This one is the camera version, and that's what we're going to demonstrate today. What's neat about this camera is it has a lens that can swivel up and down and be remotely controlled using the transmitter. Using these 2 buttons on the transmitter, you can angle the camera lens down to get a selfie of yourself on the ground, or angle it up to get a view of the horizon. So that's pretty darn cool. That's one of the first that I've seen with that feature attached that actually works. This one actually works. Other things on this quadcopter, it's very sleek, somewhat aerodynamic. Should be able to fight the wind very well. It has high efficiency propellers on it, which provide plenty of power. I've done initial flights with this already. Its motors are plug-in and easily removed and replaced. You can change a motor on this if you burn out a motor, and change it within a minute's time. You'll be flying again. You can do it out in the field with this particular quadcopter. So it understands that brushed motors do fail, and makes it very easy to change them if they do. So that's pretty darn cool. Other than that, it has an on-off switch. It has very colorful lights that let's see if I can pop them on real quick to show you. Green lights on the side. It has a blue light in the front and red tail lights, which makes it somewhat of a cool night flyer. So let's go for a flight of the H11C. And turning on the quadcopter, going over the controls real quick again. This controls the camera up and down. This controls the throttle, or the rudder trim, the yaw trim. So this is throttle, this is yaw. This sets headless mode, turns it on. This turns on automatic return. For automatic return to work, though, you have to be in headless mode first. And this resets the headless mode bearing if you want to try a different headless mode direction. This is your on-off switch. This takes photos. This takes video. And notice that each one of these buttons is labeled, which is fantastic. I have to usually manually label them. This one's ready to go. And again, these are your trim buttons for your pitch and for your roll. And again, this transmitter is the same exact transmitter as used on the 11D model. So in effect, it is the same transmitter. Flip buttons. This is for flip, and this changes the rates of the quadcopter from beginner to intermediate to expert. And you can also turn off the lights with this by holding the button down for 3 seconds. Okay, and speaking of which, I have the quadcopter turned on and binding it to the transmitter. And I want to turn off those lights to save power on the quadcopter. And let me verify such. Lights are off. And again, I'm going to also reset the headless mode bearing to make sure that headless mode works. And finally, let's turn on that video before takeoff and verify that we have a red flashing light. And we do. To verify that video is being actually recorded. And let me demonstrate real quick. Watch watch the camera as I angle it down. Isn't that cool? And let's angle it back up again. So you can do this in flight for looking at the ground or looking up at the horizon, which I'm going to do right now. Let's go for a flight. First off, I wanted to demonstrate real quick that range issue is corrected. I'm going to go low and slow. Well, maybe that range issue has not been corrected. It's flying back to be there, but the range on this is about 60 meters, folks. Now, I want to demonstrate pointing the camera down. Okay. Pulling the quadcopter back. The wind's blowing it toward me, but pointing the quadcopter down, it should be looking at me. Okay, look, now pointing the quadcopter back up again. Pointing the camera view back up again. Let's bring it down to make sure that that camera is going back up again. And it is. Now let's fly quickly with it. I got it in expert right now. Showing its expert rate. But again, you know, the range on this still is about 60 meters or so. So I'm not sure that they actually corrected it. I thought they did. It was flying good the other day. Let's lower that camera down just a little bit. It looks like it's a little bit upward. Okay, flip button. Apparently it doesn't flip while recording. Let me turn off the video now. Let me bring it in and verify that the video is off. Taking a quick look. Okay, we got a green light. So now let's just demonstrate its flight abilities. I can't get it to flip. Sorry, folks. Let's go to... we are still in expert rate. Let's try that headless mode. And 1 key return. There's the 1 key return. Again, I'm in headless mode. You have to be in headless mode for this 1 key return to work. Going right, going left, going back, going forward. Okay, going back up the headless mode bearing, pressing 1 key return, and it brings itself right back. But again, you have to be up the headless mode bearing, because if you are to the right or to the left of the headless mode bearing, watch what happens. Let's go upstream again, 1 key return. Well, let's go over here and press 1 key return and show you what happens. Pressing 1 key return, and it goes parallel to that headless mode bearing. It won't bring it directly back to you. So you need to be upstream again for headless mode to work. And again, with headless mode, the direction of the quadcopter is pointing is irrelevant. You know, forward is always in the direction it was pointed when it took off. Back is the same. Right is in respect to that direction, and left is with respect to that direction. See how I'm flying yaw, doing pirouettes? You can only do that in headless mode. So coming out of headless mode right now, let's see if I can reset that headless mode direction by pointing it in a different direction. Like, let's point it toward the grandstand over there. Let's see if this actually resets the headless mode direction. Pressing. I'm in headless mode, and yes, that resets the headless mode direction. Now it understands that as being the reference direction. So let's fly it over toward the grandstand, and I'll press 1 key return, 1 key return. It's flying that way. It remembered it for a little bit. 1 key return again. Now it thinks that's the headless mode direction. So the 1 key return works pretty darn well, actually. It brings it back real fast. One more time. 1 key return. That's 1 key return. And sending it right back up again. Okay, let's come out of headless mode. This is a darn good flyer. Unfortunately, it doesn't want to flip today for some reason. I'm pressing that flip button. It's not flipping for me. Okay, let's try that range again. Let's see if we can get past the grandstand. At least. I'm going slow, and the reason I'm going slow is, and I'm going upwind too, and I lost control right about 60 meters. So the range on this is still about 60 meters. So you're going to have to, if you get one of these, you're going to have to figure out the range on it. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem to have the advertised range of, I believe it was 150 meters. It only has a range out to about 60 meters. Well, mine does. Others might, results might vary. Let's see how, I'm flying it upwind and see it until it loses control. I have control there, right at about 60. Bring it in close now. This does have a big battery on it. Gives you a pretty good extended flight time. Let's turn on that camera one more time. Set it up high. Camera on. I'm going up again. Let's go up by the grandstands. Or show you the telephone poles. Review the telephone poles. That's the camera on it. Try to keep some forward speed on there to prevent any wobbling from, say, there, I lost control of it right there, about 60 meters up. But to prevent any wobbling from vortex ring state. And I'm going to turn off the camera now. Which way's the camera? Gotta find that camera button. Okay, I'm green again, so camera is off. Good flyer. Just still has a little bit of a range issue. If they could improve the range on this, it would be great. So overall, the quadcopter itself is great. I like the quadcopter. The controller has issues that they need to spend some time on. I should try this with like a tarantula controller. Since this is a JJRC product, I bet you the tarantula controller would work on this to make it a much more reasonable flyer. In fact, that's a good idea for a follow-on video. Because it's a shame. You get out 300 meters with it, with a tarantula controller. This would be a fantastic quadcopter. It's a great flyer, I'll tell you that. I don't know what its camera looks like yet. We'll see. It's a long flyer too. Gives you plenty of flight time. A lot more flight time than an X5C. I'd be on the ground by now after all that recording. Or its light's even flashing yet? Not even flashing yet. So I still got plenty of flight time. Still got plenty of power. I can feel the power. Fantastic little quad with a bad controller. That's a shame. Let's go to beginner. Let's see how stable. We got a wind here. Let's see if I can stabilize it to bring it down a little bit. I'm going into the wind right now. A little more throttle, a little more throttle. Oh, there's the battery. That's it. That's your flight time. Do I even got an LVC warning? I don't see any LVC warning. Let me try that again. But that's the end of the flight time. Oh, well, yeah, that's right. I turned the lights off. That's why. So, that's the flight time you get with this quadcopter. Again, let's review. I demonstrated the camera. I hope the camera video came out sufficient and was nice. It is a fantastic flyer. It seems to be well built. Easy again to change the motors if you do have motors. It has an up and down view on the camera. It looks like I had pointed the camera quite a bit up for that flight, so I hope that came out okay. Other things, you know, the controller has all the buttons labeled correctly, but there seems to be a problem with my controller again in that I could not get it to flip by pressing the flip button and either holding it down or pressing it and moving the pitch roll stick like you normally do with most quadcopters. And I did still see the range issue. I was incorrect. I still had problems. The max range on it was about 60 meters. Again, the advertised range on it is supposed to be at over 100 meters. And when it does go out of range, you lose control of the quadcopter. The quadcopter remembers the last input that it had for about 6-7 seconds before the motors actually drop. Today I was flying into the wind, so that wasn't a big deal there. And when it would go out of range, the wind would blow it back into range and back into control. So if you do fly this with the current controller here, I highly recommend that you fly upwind with this quadcopter and keep it upwind so that if you do fly out of range, it'll fly back into range and you can regain control. So this is the JJR H11C model. Hope you enjoyed this flight. This is Quadcopter 101, signing out. Night flying with the JJRC H11C. It's really pretty. Lots of lights on it. Let's go for a flight. I'm going to go in expert mode right away. Very colorful. Christmassy almost. And I'm going to land it for a second. Oh no, it's fine. Okay, I'm going to land it for a second. Okay, let's take it back to the air. It is a great night flyer, I'll tell you that. I got it in beginners now. I want to show how stable it is. Well, not very stable in terms of throttle, but the rest of it is. Back to the expert. Great flyer. Let's send it down the street a bit. Great quadcopter. Comes down quickly too. Okay, it's starting to get a little sluggish here. I think that's enough. Again, that's the JJRC H11C. Night flying. Hope you enjoyed that flight. Quadcopter 101, signing out. Okay, let's go inside.